everyone, welcome to today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. It's me, Valerie, and we are going to use some new dies today. These are the arts and crafts dies, and they are fantastic. They go with, let me show you the set. We're not using this set today, but they coordinate with the It Starts With Art stamp set. So I'm sure I'll use them in other videos later on because I love that set. Let me see if I can get my video pulled up here. Just make sure I can see when everyone's on. Hi Lois, how are you? So anyway, these arts and craft dies, I only used 2 of them today. And I'm going to show you which ones I used. This tiny little floral button, which I think is really cute. And then I used, it's easier for me to kind of get them off from here sometimes with my little paper piercing tool, this ribbon. So isn't this fantastic? So I will show you the card we're gonna make since I wanted it to be a surprise. No one guessed what it was. So hi Lisa Marie, hi Katie, how are you? Hi Rana. So this is the card I'm making today. Isn't this fantastic? And using that ribbon die, I was able to cut out the red and white stripes for the flag. So I thought it was really fantastic. And I used the little buttons as the stars. So let's get started. I'll show you how I did this. I got the idea from a post I saw on Pinterest. She did more of a lacy flag, and it wasn't with this stamp set, but I have an alternative to show you as well, or not with these dies, I mean, not with the stamp set. So what I did was I took a piece of Whisper White and a piece of Real Red cardstock, and those pieces were both 4 by 4 and 7/8. Sorry, I've got a lot of measurements written down here. 4 by 4 and 7/8. So what I did was, and I'm not going to do this on camera just because I'm just going to show you. So I put it in my Big Shot, did 1, and then just moved it right on up the line until I did enough of each, and I did it with the red as well. So then after I did that, before you can start making your cards, you have to cut these apart. So I used my large guillotine cutter, but I'm just going to use scissors to show you how I did it, basically, because I think the paper trimmer would snag too much cutting these, but you're just going to cut them right off on this end, right where that little extra piece doesn't come out from the die, because it kind of stays on there. And then once you get that end cut, just turn it around the other way, and right where this little, I'll try to show you, right where this piece of the ribbon here, so you're going to cut off this little tiny edge of the ribbon. It's kind of hard to show, but as long as all of your layers are all approximately the same size, you'll be fine. And they don't all cut out exactly the same, because when you're laying them on, to cut them out on the Big Shot, they're not all exactly in the exact same equidistant from the edge and all of that. So you've got this left over. And aren't these fantastic? These little pieces here, if you did this in a blue, you could use those as little waves later on, maybe with the Come Sail Home, is that what it's called? Sailing Home set. I thought that would be fantastic. So just set them all aside now that you've got them all cut, and make sure you get all these little pieces out, because you don't want those. I may be picking a couple out later as we're making the card. It looks much harder than it is. It's actually a pretty simple card once you get all of your little pieces cut. And then we'll do the same with the white stripes. Flip it around, do the other end. And now you got to kind of make them straighten back out once you get over to the side, if they're all kind of squished together. And if they're not all exactly the same, that's okay, because like I say, we'll trim it up at the end anyway. See, isn't that fabulous? That would be perfect for some little waves. All right, so we're going to start with a red piece. And it doesn't matter which one you start with. I just saved this one, this edge with the straight edge for the top, just because you're going to cut that off anyway. But start with this end, take some Tombow. Tombow is the easiest thing to use. Hi, Meg. Just put a dot, if you can get your Tombow to come out. I just need to order some more, apparently. I think I used too much today. Oh my goodness. Maybe I clogged it. Let me try up here. I'm getting it to squeeze out. Oh my gosh, I think I emptied it. Let me grab my other Tombow. Let's hope this one has some in it because I really need my Tombow. There we go. All right, so just put a dot, and it doesn't even have to be that big of a dot, but apparently I wanted a lot on there. I was overzealous after the other one didn't work. And just layer it right over that top like that. So you're kind of lining up all of your little ribbon waves. And we'll go through, and we are doing the whole thing. I didn't make one of these in advance, so we are doing the whole thing. And yes, Meg, I am making this one for you, and there's a special one that I'm going to show, an alternate that's actually for you as well. I went to Meg's house this past week for her son's graduation, and of course, you know, you have to go on Pinterest, and we were looking at different cards, and we saw this one, and she's like, I need that. I need one of these cards so I can frame it, because she is a red, white, and blue girl. She loves her red, white, and blue. Save that piece for the top. Grab another white one, keep going through. So I told her I would make her a flag card so she could frame it. So this is that inspiration on it. And Memorial Day weekend's coming up, and I know we're a little ways from 4th of July, but this would be a cute card to send during 4th of July time frame. It could be used for a birthday card. Thank you for your service. Pretty much anything, really. I mean, okay, so once you start getting them lined up, you just keep going until you have, how many? Does anybody know how many stripes the flag has? You can't look at this one now. I need a guess. Somebody give me a guess. How many red and how many white? Does anybody remember that from school? Or from looking at a flag? Meg better know this. I can't imagine she wouldn't. So how many stripes are on the flag, guys? Come on, don't wait till I get it done. Throw me a bone. Throw me a bone. Haha, good job, Meg. 13. She probably, if she didn't remember offhand, she counted one of her flags. Lois knew too, 13 stripes, yep. So we have 7 red and 6 white. Good job, Katie. We got lots of everybody knows. Woohoo! Always got to see who remembers these things. It's one of those things that's like once you learn it, well, I'm sure some people forget it, but those of us who have been in the military. Meg did not remember. Oh, you didn't. Oh, wait. No, you did not count your flag. Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to believe that you remembered, Meg, because I know you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got to count them as you go, though, because we have extra the way I cut them. And now I can flip the card back over since we've got, everybody did their guessing. Yep. 7 red and 6 white, and I got another piece here that I need to pop out, this little, remember when I said make sure you punch all your little end pieces off? I knew I'd be finding some. Oh geez, Fran's really good. She's got all the info there. I can't read it all because I have to scroll it. Fran's really good. She's got all the info. That's 11 or 10. That's 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. 11. So I had a lot of fun making this card today. At first I was like, oh, I hope I can get these to line up right. What if they don't line up right? And then I just realized, hey, guess what? You can just chop the ends off once you get it all glued together. If they don't quite line up right, it's okay. Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim these so they're even at the ends. And then it looks like you just knew exactly what you were doing. And like I say, if you were to make sure you cut them all exactly the same length, and which I didn't, I just trimmed them with the scissors, they would have lined up perfectly, but because I didn't do that, they don't line up quite perfectly. So with this last one, because we don't need this last red one, because there are only 6 red stripes, I just took this and trimmed it around, right around the ribbon, because that's the top of our flag. We don't need this excess. So as you're trimming, just take it off and gets it out of your way, and you don't have to worry about it. And like I said, this was not an original, well, I guess this, using these dies for this, unless someone else has done this that I don't know about, is an original idea. But making the flag itself was not an original idea, because that was an idea Meg and I had seen on Pinterest of a card that was made. And hers, she had used the card that the lady made online. I'm gonna have to make sure I credit her in my comments or my description, because I think it was bethapalooza.blogspot.com. Yes, that's who it was, bethapalooza.blogspot.com. And her flag. So look at that. Isn't that cute? So I need to let that dry for a second. So while that's drying, because I don't want to cut it yet because everything will be all wonky, I've got a piece of blueberry bushel, and this piece is 1 7/8 by 2 3/8. It took me a while to figure out that exact measurement. I had to play with it a little while. Hi Chrissy, how are you? Hi Donna, how are you? I don't remember which glue was working, but I think it's this one. All right, so I cut out those little buttons, and I just cut 9 because I didn't want to put 12 on this one, just because of the size of this. It just didn't quite look right, and obviously 50 wouldn't fit. So here is where my Take Your Pick tool has come in extremely handy today. So picking up these little bad boys with that Take Your Pick tool, and I just put a little dot of glue at the top, a tiny dot at the bottom. And then the first one I did, I just dropped it in the center. Hold it down with your paper piercer, or if you have another Take Your Pick tool, you could use that too. There's a little bit of red on the back of these because I cut them after I cut my red stripes, and so little paper scraps got on them. So, but it's on the back. So that was the easiest way that I found for lining these up, and I tried to put the one single with the single loop at the top, and then the bottom has the 2 loops at the bottom with your 2 holes going east and west, because I was like, I could just lay them on here any old way, but then it would look kind of wonky. So I tried to make sure I got them in there as evenly spaced as possible. If they're not, I apologize to some of those OCD people, not mentioning any names, but they're watching. Or they were watching anyway. Hopefully they're still watching. And actually these ones probably need to go up in the middle a little bit, but they're stuck now, so they're gonna stay there. But once you get them on there, once you start, as long as you have them all pretty much facing the same way when you put them down, and if you don't get them exact with the Tombow, you can move them just a little bit. You don't want to move them too much, because then you'll be showing everybody your glue spots that you had. Oh my goodness. Move it all over here. But the Take Your Pick tool has, like I said, really come in handy for this card, because it really helped me line these up. And trying to pick them up and put glue on them, I always end up with glue on my fingers, and I'm like, I don't want to be a sticky mess while I'm making this today, because I didn't want everything glued to me. Well, especially while I'm doing the video for y'all. I don't want you to see me. Well, I'm sure you've seen me do plenty of awesome things. but end up with glue stuck to my fingers and paper and everything else all over the place. One more and then we are done with this part, and we can trim that flag up and start assembling the card. I thought this was going to take a little bit longer doing it on the video because it took me a while today to do it, so they're not exactly perfect, but they're pretty close. We don't need that red piece of paper. So all we're going to do is, like I said, I used my guillotine cutter earlier, but I am just going to wing it and trim it with the scissors, and hopefully it's straight. It's not as easy to cut through once they're all glued together because you got those layers, but not too shabby. This one, the ends weren't quite as wonky at this end. Ta-da! Fran, you will have to ask them. They are, like I said, they were watching earlier. Hopefully they're still watching. But I'm gonna say a little bit of both, OCD and picky, and that's okay. I have nothing wrong with that. So you have your real red card base, which is cut at 8.5 by 5.5. Just go ahead and use your bone folder. And then we got 3 layers. And I'm just gonna do these 3 layers right on the card, and then we'll add the flag to the front. I thought about adding a sentiment on the front of it, and you could do that, but I didn't have any sentiments that I wanted to put on the front because I think it'll depend on what I use the card for. I haven't decided yet if it's gonna be a birthday card or just 4th of July, and Meg and I already told Meg she's getting one, so I mean, since I've got 2, I'm gonna use the other one for something. And I thought about just layering it like this with the red, white, and blue, but then I felt like it needed this black on there just to add a little, gives it a little more dimension, I think. Yep, Katie. It's you, Katie. And yep, you are OCD, but also picky, and that's okay. I love you, Katie. I love you and all your OCD-ness and lining up of everything. I have a little piece of white that's kind of above the red here from where we put them together. Doesn't that look cool on the back when you flip it over? So, of course, I love my dimensionals, and because there are so many layers on this, I added a couple extra. I did every corner, of course, and I didn't glue this on until the very end either, so I did every corner, 1 in the middle, and then kind of did 2 at each end here. So you got lots of dimensionals on the back, but I thought if for some reason, which I don't think it would, I think my glue dots were plenty for what I was gluing together, but if the glue started to come apart for some reason, when you're layering it or whatever, that way you've got lots of dimensionals to help hold it together on the back. Hi Kathy, how are you? Thanks for watching. We'll just get all these backings off, and we'll get this on the front of the card. Now see, it would even be pretty just like that without it actually being the American flag, just the ribbon, but we know we like it as the American flag. And with Memorial Day, and like I said earlier, 4th of July, and I did put a little more on the back with this adhesive as well. Hopefully I didn't just put my face in the screen as I was trying to, I'm a little crooked the way I laid it on there. I should have tilted it just a little bit, but that's okay. So that's the outside of the card. For the inside, I did use 1 stamp. I used this tiny little star from the Little Twinkle stamp set, which I'll show you that. I mean, it's this one. I'm sure you've seen it before. And actually, I have a technique video that I recorded last week that I forgot to post that I will try to post. And why is my blueberry bushel doesn't want to open now? There we go. That I'll try to post later that uses that stamp set. So I just did one little star in the corner. That's it. That's the only stamping for this card. That's it. And if you don't want something on the inside, you don't have to stamp at all for this card if you don't want to. So we'll get that put on the inside. And then I want to show you the alternative that I did as well. Of course, I'm out of, I don't have another one of those right here, but I do have some fast views. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my fast views. I know that we no longer sell this, but since I just ran out on camera, we're going with this. All right, there we go. So that is the finished product. Isn't that adorable? I think it's great. Thank you, Kathy. I love these little flag button stars too, and those are from using the dies from the Arts and Crafts dies from the new catalog. Okay, so the one I'm going to show you has more buttons on it, more button dies, and this is also with the Arts and Crafts dies. I used, which I think this one is gorgeous, and this is the one I know Meg will really, really love, this lacy die. And it's a little bit longer than the ribbon die. And that's because with the ribbon die, you have to cut these pieces off just a little bit at the end to make them fit. So when I did with this one, I definitely had to use the black for the background because if I would have used white, it would have washed out the white lace. And this little piece is just a little bit bigger. So these are 1 7/8 by 2 3/8. So this one is 2.5 by 2 inches for that piece right there. And these are all just regular card sizes, and then you just layer it accordingly. The basic black is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4 on both of them. And then these go up by 1/4 increments on this one and 1/8 increments on this one for the white and the blue. So just add on, just layer them. And I just thought this turned out really cute with that lace as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. I had a great time making these. These were so fun. And Meg, I will see you next week. So I will be getting your cards hand delivered to you. So thanks for watching. I hope you try this. It is such a fun card to make. And everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend, a safe Memorial Day weekend. And I will be back next Wednesday with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.